Hi there, Frank here for premium members for the trading day of February the 11th, 2025, a Tuesday. Coming to you from Budapest, Hungary today and for the next couple of weeks. So looking at the markets and what I think will be an important session today because the selling pressure seems to have been eaten up here by the bulls. So I think what we can expect here, and I think it will pay to pay attention. Here we go. I think when we get going here, we can easily at least test the previous high and perhaps put more pressure on it for a break to the upside. And then the weekly structure can materialize 6,400. So I think it really pays to pay attention here today. And of course, we only go long if there is a break, there is a trigger. So probably you can look at this as a trigger if you're aggressive, or you can be more conservative and look at this as a trigger. Or you can use a structure, a pullback on a smaller time frame, let's say a 60-minute or a 15-minute, to launch a long trade. But remember, whichever entry method you use, this is basically a trade on the daily time frame. I think it makes sense to just look at it from a bird's eye view and go for the big fish. And I think this is what the trade looks like. You can do it with ETFs as always, or micros, or the full futures contract. Okay, let's move on to the other three to see if there's any contradiction here. The NQ, there's no contradiction at all. This is a nice potential pressure into an upside pressure to the structure here. Pressure into previous resistance, which would coincide with a trigger area on the daily time frame. And look at the weekly, everything is nicely in sync for a beautiful long trade here. Again, don't go down to very small charts. I think the monkey business will continue to occur. Stops will be run intraday. I think it makes sense to keep above the intraday noise and just go for the big structure here on the daily. Let's look at the YM as well. Okay, nice green candle at the bottom. I think this, if it gets going, you can think of it as a entry area here, 45,000-ish, and then go for the 50,000 as a target area with a stop below 44. The candles here, you see what was this, a failure test a few days ago. Let's also look at the small caps here. Okay, nice bottom tails. Look at this, nice bottom tails. The bears failed at this point, 2200, and they ran out of steam to the downside, and this could become a buying opportunity for the bulls, which is, I think, what is likely to happen in the next day or two. So be ready to treat this as a trigger area here. Okay, there's also a long trade here, potential long trade here on 6A Australian dollar. We haven't, or at least I haven't looked at currencies for quite a while now, and just easing back into it, see where we can take this. The structure looks good, bottom tail, potential breakout area, a little bit similar visually only, of course, to the RTY, visually only, because they're two different markets. And if the 4-hour gets triggered, you might be in for a good trade to the upside for a 1R. Let's move on to CL. We haven't looked for a while. It's just building a bull flag, but keep an eye on CL. The weekly is giving us a nice bullish structure, which might be evolving on smaller time frames. I'd be a little bit hesitant because this is not a pullback. This is an absolute no-no for a pullback as far as we are concerned. We don't treat this as a pullback. It's just too much slide, or just doesn't look good to me. But I could be wrong, and if the 4-hour chart gives us a healthy pullback here on the 4-hour time frame, then we might be able to use it for something. We'll know a little bit more later. In the meantime, what is more pressing, of course, is precious metals. So 29.60 and change, almost 300, 29.70 on the GC. So we are toying with 3,000, and that's no surprise to us. Hopefully you've been active on gold one way or the other. Beautiful. And the SI is what has been a little bit quiet, but I think, judging from the past, is that the SI usually goes where gold is going, so I really expect a move to the upside from here, although it doesn't, or it may not seem like it at the moment, but this could easily be 35 very soon. So look at it aggressively and make a plan in advance how you want to play this if you want to play this. There's a excellent lesson and also an excellent setup here on platinum. It's been a while since we talked about platinum, but look at this. So what do we see here? First of all, pressure into resistance, previous resistance here, the major pivot on the 4-hour time frame, also a beautiful potential measured move in the same direction. We can use this as a potential upside with the trigger area around 44 point something and go for a 1R. If you want to keep a runner, then look at the daily chart. This is how we do this. Trigger area, you find yourself in a good trade, you have a runner, you might want to hold it on the daily to this area here, which would be 1070. You see, 1075, so basically the same thing. 1R on the 4-hour chart, a little bit more, 85 on the daily. But you will be stopped out one way or the other from any runner always. Now, if you want more, look at the weekly structure, which is, I think, where we're going is a retest of the 1140-ish. So try to stay as long as possible. If you get stopped out, treat it as a win, but I think this is one of the best setups I have seen lately. Nothing is 100%, but this is as good as it gets in this business. So PL for today, keep an eye on it. Okay, what else is here? And then there is a pullback forming on ZB, nothing to do, but a few days ago we said we're expecting a pullback, so we are getting the pullback now. We'll see if we can use this for something. Potentially nothing, because the weekly doesn't look bullish to me anyway. Okay, and then we have a corn, which has been a little bit asleep, but then you see we haven't been stopped out from this. So if you happen to be long, or if you're not long yet, but if you like this structure, this is a beautiful little secondary consolidation here, which if it gets going, you can use this area, go long now, or you can perhaps use this area here, the break, to enter a long trade. All right, but of course, PL, SI, and all the indexes also look very enticing. So I think it will pay to pay attention. Let's do that, and we'll be back a little later. It's morning in Budapest, 2 a.m. in Eastern Time. So wherever you are on the planet, pay attention to this session and keep an eye on the intraday folder and also perhaps on Discord if we have anything to share. Also feel free to contribute if you feel like it. Back soon, and until then, mindful trading.